Yes, here we go. It's the TNF, Judge Boise, whatever you want to call it. It is Thursday. It's the middle of the Christmas period. Nobody knows what day it is already. All we do know is, though, that Judgment Day, not Mark Kearney's Judgment Day, but Judgment Day is coming, and that is Saturday at Celtic Park. We'll be looking ahead to that. How Mark's feeling ahead of the game and how I'm feeling might be two different stories. We'll debate both sides. And of course, as always, get your questions in because we want to discuss them all here at Boise HQ. Aye, Mark, how's your festive period been, mate? Great to have you in the bus.
Oh, thanks, mate. It was not bad. Wee bit Noel, Christmas Day, to be honest with you. The usual
Same.
carry on. You can't enjoy yourself, can't you know? I think you were the same. It's just, to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. I'm glad it's just finished with now. See all the build up to it, all the wrapping presents and all the rest of it. It's all great, but I'm glad it's finished with now, mate. What about you? How was your Christmas?
It was all right, man. It was very, very quiet at my end as well. Like I was saying to Terry, I was fucked, mate. But
Mm.
at the same time, it's nice to get the time off. So I'm not
Oh,
back to
aye.
work to the 8th. So I can enjoy myself a wee bit still.
Bastards.
All that good stuff will get out the road straight away. All that good stuff. Feeds, gives a wee like, gives a share. As always, slag the hair. If you want to become a member, like so many of you have, like 420 somewhere, Jim Dolan, Stephen Murdoch, Jim C, loads of you, Martin Wilmot, Danish. There's loads of yous in there. We appreciate it all. It's $1.99 a month. The content's always free. Anyway, you know what Pam says? Well. The Twitch streamer versus the penthouse. Hope you are all keeping well.
Oh, the
That's you as a
penthouse.
Twitch streamer because you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog, mind mate. That's about
Is
it.
that what that is? I thought it was something else, penthouse, mate, but I'm not getting to that.
All the stories are not true,
Yes.
unless they sound good.
Yes.
Right, okay. It's been another. It's a Celtic that you can't take your eyes off right now. Maybe not in total terms of the output on the park, but because everything's so up in the air, it feels right now, Judge. And the thing is,
Mm.
before this settlement of January comes, where I think Terry was right to highlight the other day, he said, there seems to be this false level of expectation that muddle your way through to January, everything will be okay after that. What faith have we got in this board that they're going to have a conducive January towards winning the league if they couldn't do it in the summer? The summer, remember, that Terry also coined, if they don't do it now, they'll never do it. So, with that in mind, it's been very interesting to watch us bounce back with 2 wins after 2 straight defeats. But notwithstanding that, before the January window opens, we've got the small matter of Rangers on Saturday. And they have, in their minds, destiny in their own hands. If they were to win their games in hand and beat us at Celtic Park, they would have a 4-point lead at the top and a bona fide one. It would be a fair one. It wouldn't be one based waiting on other games. That would be with all games played. But from a Celtic point of view, it means we can keep a hold of the narrative, albeit we've been loosening our grip on where this title is going to be held, Judge. But a win on Saturday, and it means we still get to dictate our own outcomes, dictate our own path, and probably have a quieter January than what we want if we do get that result. It's a poison chalice, whatever you look with Celtic these days. How are you feeling though going into it? You're obviously been at the last couple of games that were at home. How are you feeling now going into the big derby this week, and where are Celtics based?
Well, I think Terry's spot on, first of all. I don't think January's going to be this, you know, sliding doors moment for Celtic and we just pop into this mystical land where we buy 5, 6 players. In fact, we've actually got the potential to become a worse team in January, considering the players that might leave, for international duties. I don't trust the club to replace Kyogo with somebody better in a short-term deal, and I don't trust the board to replace anybody else is going to leave with better players. So that's the potential. Plus, don't forget, a manager was linked with Newcastle the day as well. So there's always that. I don't really know, mate. I think the Livingston Dundee games, we needed them. I think, see if the Hearts game was the last game before this match, I think we would have been really dreading this game. But 2 solid performances by the team. No, just I think you can look at the stats where we're creating all these chances and all the rest of it. That's not what's really that's got me a bit excited. It's the way we're playing again, boys. It's fast football. We're not letting teams in the back door. We're not giving away stupid free kicks and all the rest of it. Because that's got to be a game plan for Rangers. You know what I mean? Get the ball out wide and hope Alistair Johnson trips somebody up for a free kick for 30 yards into the box. Because that'll be their game plan, is to get as many balls. I think their strength is their weakness. Their strength is balls into the box, and that's also their weakness. Ironically, I think if Cameron Carter-Vickers doesn't play, we might have a better chance of winning a few more balls in the air with Welsh than we would be. But Cameron Carter-Vickers is just a far better defender in every other sense, apart from in the air, he's not that great. But I don't think he gets up that very well, to be honest with you. But other than that, I think the guy is outstanding. But so
Is Cameron Carter-Vickers, Judge, very quickly? I mean, has he been? Me and Terry briefly spoke about him at the weekend. It feels like his season's never quite got going yet. Eh? I see when Rogers spoke about, well, the reason he came off was because he was to flag if he had any sort of slight tweaks. That tells me that he's not fully fit. And I wonder if that's been the case all season, because whilst, again, it's rare to find flaws in his performances, I still don't think he's quite been at the level he was this time last year. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, they're definitely. Obviously, that's still niggling that issue. It goes back to us not having proper strength, boys. You see if we could afford to give that guy 2, 3, 4 weeks extra to recover properly, bed him back in. We just can't afford to. When we've got our best players back for injury,
How is that, Judge? How is that? Go explain to me how we don't have these options when that's the most centre backs we've ever signed in one window.
You've
I
got
would
the
guess
Rocky.
ever.
I think we've got these fan media, we've got these press in Scotland, and not one of them's asked Brendan Rodgers, look, Brendan, before you start about all your philosophies and all the rest of it, what's happened to your £4 million defender? He started twice for you, fucked off for 3 months. He came on the bench 2 weeks ago and has not been seen since. Can you tell me what's happened to this guy? Because that's a question.
Straight question.
I'd be asking him, because Lager Bielka, there's questions there, but at least there's some substance to the story. You know what I mean? He's maybe not up to the standard. He's going to go. Phillips, we all know these things happen. Didn't work out for him. But Naroki is a totally Derek Riordan bizarre deal. You're like, how's this guy not getting a game? This is like, there could be 10,000 stories behind it, but the real one is there for me, because I don't understand why you spend that kind of money. He plays twice and is never seen again. That is like, boys, you see if he was standing next to me on a bus, I wouldn't even know who he was. I would not recognise the guy. That is how little game time. I'd even can't even remember how he played or nothing. That's how much he's played for Celtic. He wasn't in the Champions League squad because they were told he wasn't going to be fit. Okay, fine. But there's been 2-3 months since then. We're now talking January in a couple of days, and he's played twice in August. You know what I mean? It's just, you look at the window in general, and it's full of players. Like, I think Palmer's the only one that's played football, and well, relatively, and even he, I don't think he's much to. I think there's a lot of. As I said to my dad this morning, I feel like the standard at Celtic has dipped that much that there's folk trying to make cases for guys like Palmer being Celtic quality, guys like Mikey Johnson being the new hope as a sub-impact player, and James Forrest getting game time, Stephen Welsh, who I just mentioned, coming in. We're actually making excuses for this club, and they've done nothing since summertime to convince us that they've got any direction, this club, that they take any direction that they want to take this club in, you know what I mean? And it's January in a couple of days. I've saw no links with players. Rangers, I don't want to go on about them, but I tell you what, when it came out this morning, they're signing that striker, all the headlines, including Fabrizio Romano, said it was Clermont and somebody else that they're second in charge that made this deal happen, right? So that tells me whether he's good, whether he's bad. The manager's got the man he wanted. He said, I want him, and they've got him. So see if we're bored.
Which we cannot say for our summer, can we?
We can't. I would actually say that our board probably actively go against the manager's wishes. I think you've got a head of recruitment and a chairman who've got their own vision for Celtic, and it doesn't include progressing the club Brendan Rodgers fashion, mate. And there's just so many holes over the pitch. And if we spoke pre-season and we had a couple of back and forths, but see if I had told you, Boise, that we would be getting a derby match with Liam Scales, Welsh, Greg Taylor, Joe Hart out of form, Bernardo, fucking all these players, Mickey Johnston and James Forrest in the squad, you'd have kicked me off the show. You would not have believed
I
me.
would have definitely said you're off your head.
Aye.
That's the honest truth. I'd have said, look, that's not where we're going now. This time I would have said it as well. I could even imagine me and my annoying self being like, look, mate, there's a big difference now with Rodgers back. It's not going to be all this shite. And yet you look at it and you go, it's not just a squad that's regressed. Because people can argue whether people have been out of form since Rodgers took over and the form's dipped or whatever. That's okay. But I also think his selection options seem so far removed from what Ange did. Yeah, I'm perplexed because the centre back position just been one. I think if we signed another centre back in January, people would be on board for it. That's bizarre. That would take us up to 4 signings at centre back in one season. Like no one's ever heard of this sort of thing before. It makes no sense. Yet I think it is an area that will be getting viewed upon come January. I really do.
Well, I hope so, because I mean, we spoke pre-season and you were talking about improving on Carl Starfelt. Now we're talking about Stephen Welsh and Liam Scales. You're talking about improving Greg Taylor. Now you're talking about, can this guy get through 90 minutes if it make an arse of himself? And we could go all the way through the team. I don't think there's a player that's maybe O'Reilly that's actually progressed at all under Rodgers, but I don't know. And I would listen. I'd put our captain in the top of that list. I think he's very much in my line of vision when it comes to players like he's doing this season. I don't care how long he's been at the club and how many goals and assists he's maybe got or whatever. And I just don't know. I just think that Saturday's game, if you want to get back to that, is I think it's going to be two idiots fighting there at the last seat on the bus or whatever. I just think it's a Rangers team who are well organised. I think they're going to be hot. I've not seen much of Rangers, right, boys? I really haven't. I try not to watch them, but one thing you've got to say is he's at least made them hard to beat. You can say that because they've won a group in Europe, so they must be at least hard to beat. Whether they're good at anything else, they're hard to beat. And mixed in with us, a team who finds it hard to break teams down, I think you're getting a draw written away at you, to be honest with you. And I would take a draw. If I go there Saturday with them no beating us, I'd take it because I want to keep this out within our hands. We were 8-9 points clear only a matter of weeks ago. And by the way, I'll say it because I have called it out. I said about 5 weeks ago, if we don't get that together, we could be behind a couple of months. And I was ridiculed and said I was talking pish and everything. But lo and behold, when you fill your team full of guys like, I'm sorry to say this, the guys like Scales as well as he's played, Mikey Johnson, James Forrest, Maeda. And listen, another thing on Maeda. Please don't sit here and tell me that you've got ambitions for Celtic being a European team, but then in the same conversation, tell us that Maeda's Celtic class, that Greg Taylor is motivated to the end of the season, because the two of them don't match up. We've got if there's a worse football player in this league, I've not seen him. He's an athlete. He does a great job at pressing players, and he does all the things good and well. But his ability with a football leaves a lot to be desired. There can't be a winger in Scottish football that can't beat a man like him, can't run with the ball at his feet like him. He just can't do the basics, boys. I think he's come back worse for his injury. It might take time to recover, but I just don't see what you get from other than hard work. And hard work should be the bare minimum for a Celtic player. He goes out over and above. All the stats are crazy with the guy, but I want more. Boys, I want more than that. I want genuine flair on the wings. I want somebody that can beat two men.
I don't know if you can still hear me. Am I here?
I can hear you fine. Yep. If I cocked it. I don't know if I can hear you now. You're frozen. Wave your hands. No, I don't know if Boyce is frozen or I've frozen, but I'll let him try and come back in again. But no, it stands to reason. We can't be sitting here looking at the team for Saturday and picking guys like Maeda just on the fact that he'll press Tavernier. Surely we need to think bigger than that and better than that. I mean, we're Celtic. It's a home game. We should be on the attack for the first minute, dictating the play. No, just try to stifle Tavernier or stifle Barisic or whatever it's going to be. We don't play that way. We should be dictating the play. Three midfielders, I think. Bernardo, he's played his best game for Celtic last week and he scored a goal. So that bodes well for the midfield. So I don't think Ataki's going to come in for the start. I think he's going to come on as an impact sub. And same again with Abada. I'd like to see him start, but that's not going to happen, let's be honest. He's not going to come back after 4 months out and start against Rangers. Although I wouldn't mind it for an hour, and then bring on Palmer for an impact. Maybe he's a better sub than he is a start. But if you're going to play Maeda and Palmer on Saturday, it's got to be left and right. Maeda's got to be in the left and Palmer's got to be on the right. I'm fed up with this chopping back every time Palmer's get the ball out wide as well. So hopefully, if he plays out in the right, he's maybe get the chance of a first time cross, he'll take it because he'll not beat a man. That's for sure. And we've got to start creating chances for Kyogo. I think he's missed almost every chance that falls to his feet recently, but the fact of the matter is he's not getting a lot of chances because Celtic aren't creating a lot, especially, as I say, in the midfield. We're not that creative. I think Matt O'Reilly's he's struggling to get players up to his level. I think when he gets to 18, 20 yards to go, he's looking for somebody to make that run, make that killer move, and it's not happening for O'Reilly. He's getting there, and I don't really know what more he can do as such, but if Kyogo's no getting the service, we're not going to get the best out of that guy. I think he's no like a Giakoumakis, like one shot, one finish, one touch, one finish, one goal. You know what I mean? He needs to get himself into that game first, and we're finding games where he's sitting 30, 40 minutes if he can't touch the ball. And we can't afford that on Saturday. We need to be dictating the play for the first whistle. And that doesn't include us just playing about the ball as slowly as we can and just hoping that Rangers make mistakes because they're well organised now.
How much of the blame do you put on Kyogo himself? I mean, see, at the end of the day, whether you like the system or not, it's one thing, right? See, 5 months into it, a guy approaching his 29th birthday in his third year in Scotland now at Celtic, he's well settled on a new contract. Is it not time that he just, if you keep hearing, for example, say that seems to be on Kyogo's side is he makes loads of runs no one sees. Is it not maybe he starts doing runs that are part of whatever the said system is, whether we approve of the system or not, it's irrelevant. You're paid to do the fucking job that the manager puts out there. And right, it might be brilliant looking like you're doing loads of runs that are way off piste and nothing to do with how the team's actually trying to develop the possession of the ball. What's the point? Surely at one point in 5 months, it should come to a head where he's now getting it. He's now more involved. Kyogo's never been so uninvolved as he is in the current run right now. I think he has to take a wee bit of responsibility as well. And I think people are loath to do it for a combination of factors. One of them being the fact he's been our top scorer the last 2 years. And naturally that gets you credit in the bank. I think secondly, there's a demeanour thing that people don't like, the fact that because he's always smiley, happy-go-lucky, I'm like, he's not a 12-year-old. He's nearly 30 years old. Get over it that he's happy-go-lucky in that. And then there's the optics test, which I think is these runs he's making off the ball. Nobody's finding it because nobody's on that wavelength, Mark. There's nobody else on that wavelength. So, for me...
Well, if he's making the runs that you're talking about, boys, and nobody's finding him, then maybe he's why we're not making so many chances. Maybe he's coming out of the process far too early. Maybe the process is we build this way, then you make your move at a certain point. Maybe he's the one that's deviating for the process. Maybe he's the one that is trying to make the runs that don't really suit what we're trying to do. That makes sense?
But either way, he's had long enough now to get on board with whatever this week you're paid to do, pal. Whether you like it or not, get involved in how this system's going to work. And good players find a way. Even if they might not like a manager's check, if you're that good, you just rise to the top anyway. Kyogo's been found wanting, in my opinion.
Well, definitely, I agree with you. I think he's been so far off at the last, I'd probably say all season. He's got a few goals. He got a winner at Ibrox, a couple of other good goals for Celtic. But in general, he's played play's been very poor. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think your luck, sorry, your reputation only carries you so long. I think if we had a striker of any repute behind him, I'd be calling for game time just now. Always just for somebody that I would take seriously. I think if we had a Miovski for talking to, I'd be saying, do you know what? Give him 5 games. Because Kyogo, I think when Kyogo plays the way he's playing just now and scores a goal every game or so, fine. But see when you're oh fuck, aye. Net a pay rise.
Graham's got a net a pay rise. I think the thing is then at least to January, you go all out and get a striker, don't you?
Oh, definitely.
This was a point I was trying to make in the summer. Remember we discussed it and I said, whether you like it or not, whether it seems childish or not, anyone who picks up Football Manager, Champion Manager, whatever, first thing you want to do when you're in charge is buy a striker. You want your guy to hang your hat on. That applies to modern day football, not just modern day football, it's always applied to football. You come in and you go, even if they're beefed up in that area and there's plenty of options, every manager wants to bring in their own striker, their own guy they can go, do you know what? It's on me for missing them. I expected Rodgers to do that in January. I was surprised he didn't. I think now, in the summer, sorry, I think now come January, he's got no choice but to do it. No choice but to do it because he will not hang his hat on someone that misses opportunities. For example, like what we seen Kyogo miss on Tuesday.
Well, the fact that they've mentioned that Silva, who was a possibility for Celtic, tells me that they've put their hand into the loan market rather than trying to buy a player, which would concern me. In fact, what concerns me is they knew this was coming in January. They knew January was coming. If all was on form, Kyogo was on form, Hatate or rest it. Best case scenario, all of them go to Asia, every one of them. And the plan was to go like that. Fuck it, we'll see what happens. We'll get somebody in January. Rather than buying them in summertime, giving them 5-6 months to bed in, they went, fuck it. They went, well, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? And see if that's your plan. That's not a plan. And also, if your plan is it's just the hope Rangers buy bad players, that's not a plan either. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's all fucking fly the seat your pants stuff at Celtic. There's no, like, you mentioned summertime there, like, I don't think there was any forward planning. I think the only forward planning was these 9 guys, we'll get them in, see if they get a resale value on 2 or 3 of them, make our money back. That's fine with us. There was no plan whatsoever to build this team. I mean, Mark Lawwell, I seen somebody writing on Twitter, Mark Lawwell's got on his last chance. Mark Lawwell will be there for 30 years.
Whenever he
There's no
wants
way
to
that
be.
guy's going anywhere.
Yep.
Until that guy decides he's had enough, he will be there. And I'm sorry to say this, that him and his dad, and I never knew this. There's actually 3 of them in there. There's a guy called Paul. There's 3 Lawwells. He's got 2 sons in there. It's Mark Lawwell and Paul Lawwell. I didn't know that. I seen it all day. There's an I don't know what he does. I don't know if he works on the coaching staff or he works within the club somewhere. But there's 3 Lawwells seemingly at the club. There's two Desmonds, and these guys are going to be there for as long as they want to be. You know what I mean? And there's George. I think there's got to be a phone call come the 1st of February if we've just been so inactive, and he's got to go to the head office, and his dad's going to sack him, Boise. The guy got a job with 0 credentials. He was employed by the City Group. No Man City is folk what I tell you. The City Group doing a totally different job for what Celtic. In fact, when Celtic hired him, there was if you looked close enough, I don't know what podcast it was there. Somebody did a wee deep dive into his actual credentials, and his job at Man City was more of a player lazy on kind of guy. A player kind of it was nothing to do with scouting players for the City Group. It's about Celtic they had this kind of loose title. They had like a head of recruitment development or something like that at Man City, but it was a totally smokescreen for the guy's real job. You know what I mean? And Preston boys, you don't go for nobody to be in charge of Man City's recruitment. He's not got a youth career. He's not got a playing career. He wasn't a coach somewhere. He wasn't a scout. He wasn't like a super agent. He was nothing. Nothing. You don't go for that to be in the head of Man City's recruitment, boys. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. it's borderline ludicrous, to say the least. You know what I mean? Like anybody believes this shit. But as Celtic and as they come away with this stuff. But do you know, if we can get back into what Terry said, because it was on my mind, I feel like this is what we've got to get our head around and all. Like, it's not going to come hung by a boy saying 12 o'clock and then it's going to be, oh, everything's rosy now. We're going to be still sitting on the 20th of January saying, what is the first signing going to be? You know what I mean? But he's actually already said that he'll give the other players a chance first, and the players he wants might not be available until the end of the window and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not expecting an Ange 3 players in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd of January. But unlike that mob, as I said a minute ago, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, forget the standard. He's asked for something, he's got it. Whereas you get a
That's
manager
what
here, I
annoys
think
me that people are
that,
missing. Everyone
that's
wants
what I'm
to
trying to say
be.
on Twitter, I know.
You're so right, because this what's really annoying me right now about this smug, arrogant, smarmy attitude Celtic fans seem to be taking towards Rangers getting a player their manager wanted.
Aye.
That's it at the bottom. The bottom line is the manager identified the player, or it's suggested to him, and he's like, yes, go out and get him. And they've done it, and they've done it with 3 days in advance of the window opening. And we want to gloat at that because, well, we never really wanted him. When the fuck did that become the barometer of everything? When did that become like, oh, well, Celtic weren't wanting him? It's pathetic child porn and stuff like this that actually drives me mental. I went on Twitter on Christmas Day, Judge, very quickly. For 10 seconds, I lasted. And I could not believe how many grown adults still in pops about Celtic Rangers stuff. Christmas Day, I just still fucking gag.
Oh, it's pathetic. Mate, listen, let's get one thing clear. We are part of the most pathetic, childish, ridiculous circus that exists in football. Make no mistake about it. The way the media hype is up, the way the media plays off against each other, the way we phone up and Clyde One and say, oh, my grass is better than yours, oh no, my grass is shorter. We argue at every single point. None of these can ever. It's like Chris Boyd, for talking sake. A guy paid to be. Don't be impartial. Be Rangers biased all you want, but at least be objective with some of your. At least be a pundit. At the very least, be a pundit. And he knows he can't be that way. There's something in this country when it comes to football where, and that's why people us do not see anybody sitting on the fence. We don't watch a pundit on telly or read a newspaper and think this guy's just saying it like it is very often, because in this country it's coming for that pathetic core of their being, you know what I mean? And we've all, but Christmas Day, boys, I've seen folk in your support and slagging people dying and everything, you know what I mean? And you go, what is this? It's a redneck, you know what I mean? It's pathetic. Like, I've sat with folk, maybe English folk or whatever, and they just don't get it. And I always say, look, the media make it it's worse than what it actually is. I said, but see the everyday patheticness and how sad it is, that is genuine. That is like, it is gen up. The guys in their 60s and everything arguing about the smallest, most ridiculous point. And that's why the day, like, when, in fact, me and Andrew get abused for this today on Twitter, which is fine. But just totally looking over the hedge and just clearing away the bullshit and just saying, look, he's asked for this and he's got it. If only we could get our manager to get the same fair board, we'll both have a good chance of winning this league. That's all
instantly for one to then go, he's only scored 4 goals in 80 games, 4 goals in 80, and you're like, it's not the point.
I'll tell you what, boys,
he's
only 21. He's only 21, and I looked at his actual stats. I think one of them, like, I think he made like 9 starts for PSV, like 5 goals, which isn't too bad, but another 20 odds a sub. But it's being a sub striker isn't easy.
I mean,
the guy's probably, he's probably shite. I'm glad we didn't get him, because he's not the profile I want. He's not the type of player I want.
But you're on the same page. You're in the same space as me, Mal. We're going. What we're recognising though is, undeniably, there's been a player identified by, whether it be a recruitment team and the manager first, or either or, and then there's been a conjoined effort.
Sorry, my Netflix
Judge. Is that X Factor on the And then there's been a conjoined effort by the recruitment team or whatever, and Philip Clement to go, we want this guy, go get him. And they've delivered. We want to point score on that. I just don't get it. It's particularly with the work of the 3 windows we've just had are utterly appalling. People think for the likes of the window we brought in Johnston, that wasn't that bad because we got Owen Johnston. That was a window where we lost Giacomakis and Juranovic. Juranovic was neither our favourite player. This guy was a World Cup semi-finalist at the same time. Okay? Like, he was replaced with a player we should expect to not be of that level because he's not a Croatian international. Remember that coined that term? He's a Canadian player who'd only really competitively played international level and a few games at club level that would have been remotely close to what is SPFL title chasing sort of matches, which whether the standards are high, the pressures that come with the games that Celtic play in is a massive magnitude, huge step up. And also, I then look at the window that's just been as the one they really took the piss with. That's the project window in full force. That was no mix of it. Like, even the summer before that, they signed Aaron Moyna free. I disagreed with that signing, I still do. But he was a sprinkler of experience in the midst of these signings. This time around, they went for one template, and it was young, hopefully sell them on in the future, got bags of potential. They did that for all 7-8 signings. It's just unacceptable. And it's cost them big time. And it's cost them in terms of the Champions League, Europe altogether. And we've thrown away what was a healthy lead at the top of the title race as well. Let's look to Saturday though. Because at the end of the day, Mark, we both know what both teams are going to have. Because whether they've been ahead of the game getting a sign in or not, he can't feature this weekend. Celtic, we know the tools that we've got at our disposal. How do we fare and how do you want us to set up?
Well, we'll go to attack, boys. I don't want to see Celtic playing all these. Oh, we'll go to nullify Tavernier, so we play Maeda. I mean, that's for me. That's fighting the total opposite way. I think Celtic should be very cautious of Rangers. Of course, they should. But I think Celtic are at Celtic Park. There's no away fans. We've seemingly got a better team, the better manager. So we're told we should be good there to dominate. And I think if you go to play Maeda, you go to play him on the left, Palmer on the right. Although I'd play Abada. I'd give Abada 60 minutes for a start. Go for it. Why not? In midfield, I think it's going to be the same as the other day there. But I think that's the first time in a while we've had a starting midfield 2-3 games in a row with the same team. And that's, I think, when you start chopping and changing teams, they want you're getting chopping and changing results. This will be the first chance we've got this season to make it 3 wins in a row. That's just, I'm looking into January. You know what I mean? The defence is a worry. But I just hope we've spent all this week finding ways to get Kyogo back into this game. He likes this fixture. Matt O'Reilly likes this fixture. I know Hatate does. He might get half an hour, 25 minutes, but he won't start, and nor should he, because apart from the fact he's just back for injury, you don't want to risk it. I don't think his form was good going into his injury anyway, boys. I think his form was very serious.
It wasn't. That's fair enough completely.
And I think Abada likes this fixture, boys. He likes this fixture. Rangers don't like him in it. He's got that ability to ghost in. And what Abada gives you is, Abada doesn't have to have a good game to score. Abada can be totally fucking dog meat and sneak in that back post and score you 2 goals. He can. He's got that wee thing about him. And what worries me is our width. Celtic have got this Celtic style of play. To me, looks like we go through the middle and we try and make space for our wingers. And how we do that is fucking, I don't know. But when the ball does go out wide, it's gone to Palmer, who can't beat a man, Maeda, who couldn't beat an egg. And you're saying you'll get Taylor, who can't overlap and do it. And nowadays, Alistair Johnson, who just can't overlap. He's shite with the ball at his feet. You know what I mean? Especially in the final. Let's be honest. And in the final third, Alistair Johnson's not very good, boys. Good defender, solid player, but with the ball at his feet, try to cross a ball. It's like watching Bambi and Ice, let's be honest. So we're going to have to create a lot through the middle. Matt O'Reilly making space for others. Cam McGregor's going to have to get his shirt dirty, and I mean really dirty. I want him to get in the face, like their midfield. I want him arguing with the referee. I want him to be a presence at Celtic Park. I don't want him to be a mouse-like figure, as we've saw this season, where he's either in his shell or he's talking post-match to the players out in the park. That reminded me of that Hull City manager, and he was trying to do a team talk after the match or at half time, and they kept the players out.
Yeah, remember that? Phil Brown.
Yep, I find it pathetic because he was sending a message to the fans, well, look, I've got this. No. I remember Scott Brown in a derby match. We just got a couple of challenges and Celtic were 1-1, I think, and he went like that, stop, and he started pointing his fingers at all these players. 2 minutes later, Celtic at the park and scored. He didn't go like at full time if they're getting beat 2-0 off Hearts. Or look at me, I've got a lot of words for wisdom. He should have been in the players' faces at every corner, every throw-in, every break of play, reminding people who they're playing for. But he doesn't do it. He doesn't argue with the referee. I mean, Cameron Carter-Vickers, I mean, that was at least one penalty kick he got denied the other day there, and there wasn't one Celtic player arguing with the ref. Our captain, again, nowhere to be seen. You know what I mean? And they will argue every toss of the coin in Saturday. We won't. We have to win these wee battles because they're a physical team, but they're not just physical. They're compact. They will be tight in defence. They will mop up, Kyogo, run about in circles, try to find space that nobody's going to fling a ball into. They will find ways to nullify Maeda's erratic running. You know what I mean? They will find it, boys. It's up to us to, in the key moments, get past them.
How would you approach the game? How would you approach the game, though, Judge, then, with that in mind? Do you think this is one that Celtic should be looking at going, well, if we go old school Ange, grab the game by the throat, right? Start at 1,000,000 miles an hour, try to get that early impact goal, atmosphere completely erupts, as you rightfully pointed out, no Rangers fans there as well. Suddenly players are riding on the crest of a wave. They're riding with that confidence behind them, that support behind them, and that might be the best way to keep a hold of, like I was saying earlier, the narrative, if you like, of even how this game plays out. Or we start cautiously and we build from the back very, very pragmatically, very methodically, and what may end up happening then is 60,000 fans become a bit of a pain in the ass. And that's not disrespect to 6,000 fans. That's because there's just naturally a nervous energy now forming. There's naturally some groans. And the players are starting to look around going, didn't like that too much. Don't like that. And before you know it, we've brought pressure on ourselves. I think the only way we can try and start is what I think we were attempting against Dundee, if I'm honest. And that was to start as fast as we could. I'm not saying we executed it perfectly. We didn't. But I think it was on the right track. What we should be trying to do this weekend. We just go at them full throttle from minute one. Try and get that reaction for the crowd. Get everyone on side. Create that absolute fortress sort of atmosphere. And from then, we'll kick on from there. Because my concern would be a slow start could lead to a hell of a lot of, as I say, nervous energy.
Well, I think the fans can be the 12th man, but it can also be a pain in the arse, as you say. See, if we get the home crowd frustrated, it's not a good place to play, you know what I mean? And I think, look at the Hearts game, I was no well, but I've heard the atmosphere was really toxic and the players did not react to it well. We've got the Green Brigade back, so the crowd will be supportive and there will be, and thank God they're back. I'll say this on the pod right now. I think well overdue to come back. Whatever punishment was going to be put to them should have happened a long time ago. This was just a fucking nonsense. The guys deserve to be in their seats, paying for their tickets. But anyway, I think we've got to hammer them from the very beginning, because you get to half an hour, boys, momentum starts to slow down, and then Rangers will get their inevitable touch of the ball. And you don't want to be giving them a bit of hope. See if we get a goal early with that crowd behind us. Then you do see guys like Tavernier collapsing or that Golson. They're all scared things at Celtic Park when it's like that. We've all seen it. When they go behind, they start to panic. And I don't really want to give them the opportunity to make the crowd go against Celtic, because you've got 60,000 fans there in Saturday, and they're all going to be rooting for you, Celtic. But see, the minute you start reverting to type this season and start playing the ball slowly, start wasting chances, no creating anything, believe you me, that it starts to become toxic, and that will only favour one team, because we all know Rangers aren't scared to play with no fans. In fact, I dare say they like playing with no fans. They
Well, I
found it
think
during
that
COVID.
I think there's definitely an argument for that, and I suppose one of the other comes of comfort that I take from it, if we do have a wee look over the fence at them, is for whatever reason, when there's pressure on in Europe, they don't treat it as pressure, and they seem to rise to the occasion. When there's pressure on domestically, particularly with crowds there, as you rightfully point out, Judge, they don't fucking like it. Now, that nucleus, that core of that team has been the same for 5 years. The spots are the same. Leopard won't change. Do you know what I mean? And I do happen to think, whilst there's opportunity for them, they don't smell opportunity, they smell fear in these sort of moments domestically. For a reason I can't quite put my finger on, because in Europe they look like it's a different animal, and it's fair enough. But I just get the feeling, the pressure on coming to Celtic Park, you'll see the same characters, same Taverniers, same Goldsons, same Crying Jacks. These guys, for whatever reason, don't like these occasions in Scotland. The record is appalling against us. It's appalling in big games, full stop. I just think, from our point of view, yes, it might be about all what we do, but for a bit of comfort as well, I take a bit of comfort, shall we say, in the thought that the team we're coming up against, I think, will have more of a nervous deposition than what we will, even if we don't start that rip roaring free scoring way.
Well, I hope so, mate. They will be nervous, of course they will. I mean, they're not going to have that wee pocket of fans, which does make a difference. I can assure anybody, it makes a difference having you're in support there. But this is the thing, like, this is for our opportunity to show them that we're Celtic, that we're in charge. You know what I mean? This is our league title, and this is our home stadium, and we're going to treat you like nobody else. We're just going to steamroll you. And Celtic should come out with that attitude. Like, listen, we're not here to stifle you. We're here to fucking demolish you. We've read the press the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've read how this guy's the new Beale, he's the new Van Bronckhorst, the new French Revolution, Dutch Revolution. It's always a revolution at Ibrox. We've read it all before. We've seen it all before. And every time you get a new one, he's better than the old one. And this one's different because this one's different. But this is Celtic's opportunity. We've not played them yet under this guy. We're at home. There's no away fans. There's not much more we can get going for us, boys. I mean, this could have been an away game at Ibrox with no away fans. It could be a lot more tricky than what it is. It's just up to us to show them that we're in charge.
Well, it definitely is, and we've got the experience to do that as well. Mark, before we go, because we're just calling it a wee shorter show tonight, I know you've got plans. But before we go, what I was going to say to you was, who do you think Celtic's biggest threat then, or biggest weapon, if you like, will be going into that game? Who can cause and pose the biggest problems to Rangers?
Matt O'Reilly, I think he's a player that's
I
on
agree with
form
that.
now. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see Kyogo finishing the game. He's a shell of the player he is, and the game might be won on the subs bench. I think that's my concerns. Like, when you look at the game, the sub bench on Saturday, I think whoever's got the strongest bench might just be the one who pips it. And if you're looking at Mikey Johnson and James Forrest and Bernaby, yeah, and you're fucked. Let's be honest here. So I think having a Tati and a Bada back is a big boost for Celtic. Without they two being on that bench, I think it might have looked a totally different picture altogether. But if we can get a half an hour to a Bada, half an hour out of Tati, I mean, we might get into the last half an hour needing a goal or needing to steal a victory. That's what you're wanting. I'm not convinced that we'll go to players that can get us out of the line without having a good, strong bench, Boise, because what we've seen so far is
Yeah.
it's fits and starts with this team.
Yes.
You're not going to get an hour and a half of pure football at this team. You just know it seems to be like wee 5-10 minute spells, then a breather, and then start again. And the only difference is between playing Rangers and playing Hibs or Hearts. You see when the ball swings the other direction and they've got the ball for 10 minutes, they can score against you quite easily. They really can, and that changes the whole dynamic. But Celtic's game, if they want it, it's just what team turns up on Saturday, and I just didn't see this coming when this point last season. I wouldn't have seen Celtic being this much of a fucking mess going into a game like this. And, but the positive for Celtic is the two players coming back. As I said, it might just, that bench looks a totally different kettle of fish with they two on it. I'm not saying a bad or Hatate or on form because I know this season, but I tell you what, they two are much better subs than David Turnbull and James Forrest. Let's be honest here.
Some of the options we've seen on the bench this season has been really remarkable. There's no two ways about it. Napoleon coming in saying, absolute morbid chat. Napoleon, you've been here since minute 1, sir. So you must be having a really morbid night, mate, because you've been here since right from the beginning. I seen you comment.
Was he wanted to say what? Was he wanted to say?
Let Napoleon hang in there. Enjoy the morbid chat. Obviously, he's having loads of fun at home right now. That's all good, mate. That's all good. Mark, we're having realistic debate about where the fuck Celtic are at right now and going into a massive game. I think there's a bit of trepidation. What I will push you for is a prediction. I'm going to give mine first. I'm going to set the tone this time. I think the biggest weapon, I agree with you, is Matt O'Reilly. I think Celtic will win 2-0. I think it'll be one of these strange games where we come out to it going, fuck, are we like more ahead than what we thought we were? Is this team better than what we thought? It'll lead to an even more confusing January and probably one the board are licking their lips at as you go into this quandary of going, but we are better than them. Why do we need to strengthen so much? And the board go, exactly. Told you. I agree. Celtics just came in as well. Shell saying 2-0 Celtic. I think it will be 2-0. I think these games get away from the other lot. And I think when it comes to us, Rodgers, I don't want to say this nasty. For want of a better expression, I just think he's going to try a bit more. And
we fully focused, definitely.
If these are games that certain players come alive, I certainly think we can agree this is the game the manager comes alive in. That's fair comment. And
definitely. And I think
I'm confident of a 2-0 win.
But I've seen him a lot at the touchline this season, just standing there, and I've seen the notepad back out again in Tuesday night there, and we see him just standing at the touchlines with his end folded recently, and I don't like it. I think you've got to be active, even if you're 1-5 you've got to be at least playing your part on the sidelines, and he's not been doing that.
That was one of his traits, wasn't it?
That was his. He just sitting there.
It was always on the go. Yeah.
One thing about Rodgers is he's different for a lot of managers. He takes the emotion out of the game, and that's one of the positives for Celtic. He'll just think about this game without emotion. He'll act on the park after the park emotionless. He'll just see it. He'll not get caught in the atmosphere, which I really like. Like Anthony Lennon did it a few times. I thought Gordon Strachan was guilty of it. They all were actually. He'll just play the game for what it is, and that's probably the biggest positive of going to the sidelines. I do think it's a draw. I think it's got a draw written about it, mate. But if I was to push for a scoreline on, I'd say 2-1 Celtic. I think if they come to Celtic Park and play up against our defence and don't get a goal, they will just chucking it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tasty. I am going to be back with you all tomorrow on the Friday feeling. I'm doing that with Phil tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
Right.
That's still got his wee inflatable emojis flying about. Thanks very much for joining me this Thursday evening, Judge. Let everyone get back to the festivities. Enjoy your Baileys, whatever it is you may be drinking. I might even treat myself to tequila rose later. Nah, I probably won't. Maybe not. It's weird when you live on your own. Things that sound fun that you could do it, even if we're only one doing it, but there was something else there, would be perfectly acceptable. You just can't do it on your own. Just that's fucking weird, mate. Do you know what I mean?
My life, mate.
Oh dear, right, okay, we'll call it there. Thanks very much. Keep your eyes on the road. Cheers, Judge.